This is Spartan 117.
Anyone hear me? Over.
Isolate that signal. Master Chief, you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship?
Sir, finishing this fight.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to Finish the Fight, a Halo podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Reiners.
And I'm your host, Alex Kendall.
And today we're talking about probably the biggest news in Halo for the past, 6 weeks now?
Let's say even the 6 years. Almost.
Yeah, probably. Something years in the making that people have been wanting since Halo 2, which is the Master Chief Collection, is now coming to PC.
Which is amazing that now we're going to get what was an Xbox franchise, except for a little bit of Combat Evolved, of just being on a console system.
Uh-huh.
And not only that, if what they've said and what actually comes out is true, we're going to get it on Steam.
Yeah.
Which is another big selling point.
Yeah, because then that opens it up to the modding community and no end in sight after that.
Exactly. And you're not going to have to go through the Epic Store, which is kind of pushing for Steam's viability right now. And you're not going to have to go through the weird-ass Windows Store that's kind of involved into 10, like Windows 10. So you're not going to go through any of that, which is a huge lifesaver. And I'm really glad that Microsoft 343/ whoever else is involved with that, as we're going to talk about later, is really open to that. And that's kind of a godsend. I think that's really what's going to help, I don't want to say revive the series, but reinvigorate it with a new audience and also a continued audience.
Yeah. So before we talk about the news and everything we know about, we're first going to talk about what all was on PC before this happened. So we're going to go back to 2003, I believe, and I could be wrong on that, is whenever the first time Halo was on PC. Mm-hmm. Halo had its own PC version that was released after it got released on the Xbox. And as well as there's a custom edition, which we've talked about before, which is, people are allowed to go into the maps and change what they want. And basically you're given the developers notes, and saying, this is what we have, do what you want with it.
It's kind of like the first Forge almost.
Mm-hmm,
so it's basically allowing them to do that. And we touched on this on our first episode with CE about how when you had Halo CE on the PC, you had exclusive multiplayer maps, you had exclusive multiplayer weapons, and it was just a whole different experience. I guess it was a bit of a different experience. So we'll continue on that lineage to see kind of how we ended up where we're going today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then afterwards, the next thing we have for PC, Halo 2 was brought onto PC in 2007, only a few months prior to Halo 3's release, though this was on Windows Vista. And so I don't remember Vista much, but I guess that it was like...
Vista was trash.
Yeah, and so that hurt the selling because people didn't want to play Halo on Vista.
No, it was such a boggy system, and I believe the way they had it there as well, it was super entwined into Windows. So you had to use a lot of the Windows gaming features that were there. So it just bogged the game down. It made it just tough to even start up.
Yeah.
And it didn't keep a player base. And at that time too, with that weird transition Vista of 2007, you still had plenty of PC gaming, but I think consoles were kind of dominating that market.
Yeah, well, plus, as I said, it was released not long before Halo 3. So people were kind of, they moved past Halo 2 in the sense of being excited, and they were waiting for Halo 3. The last thing I think a lot of people wanted to do was say, okay, well, Halo 3 is only a few months ahead. Let me just go replay this, but on PC now.
Exactly. And for the most part, if you had a PC at that time and you were gaming, this wasn't something I would see on your radar.
No,
it was a Microsoft, specifically Xbox exclusive, that you're kind of just getting what was probably just an okay port over. That's
basically what it was.
Yeah, and they tried to, and Windows tried to push achievements on Windows games, which no one really could render until you had places you come out with trophies. No one was really trying to go for this achievement base, and it really didn't feel like you were getting anything.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually then, shortly after Halo Wars 2 came out, it was available on the Microsoft Store. Halo Wars 2 being released on the Xbox One was actually at the same time available on PC. I think this is the first time we ever saw a Halo title be released on console and PC at the same time. That has yet to the first time that happens is Halo 2 Wars or Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, and that's it for especially exclusives having that. Obviously cross-platform things kind of get released whenever they can, or whoever has exclusive rights for a week or a month. But we'll talk about this as we get to Halo Wars and all the others later down the road as we get to this. But with more pressing news as we have it, this could be a transition of Microsoft saying we need to, relate with our online and our PC audience as much as we do with our Xbox audience.
Yeah, exactly, because I know that there is that whole PC master race, or there's people that pit against each other, but there are people that play PlayStation and who play Xbox and who even play PC, or they play Wii as well, It's definitely like Halo, I think, is done being an Xbox exclusive, like for sure. It's official. It is done. We already know Halo Infinite will be released on Windows 10 as well.
Yes, and it makes sense. It makes sense in a world where you're having people flock to PC more now than ever. And we'll touch on this kind of when we wrap up after the end of our episode, is just kind of our own thoughts on these things. But I think Microsoft is making the smart move of you already dominate the home computing system. Why not keep pushing that aspect of an audience you already have while still sticking with Xbox and what you have going over there and going between the two and making them work for you in both ways.
Exactly. Now, after Halo Wars 2 was released, Halo Wars, the Deluxe Edition, became available on Steam. Now, we also have Halo Spartan Assault and Halo Spartan Strike that are both available on PC and Mac. I will say this. A lot of people don't like those games, but for a top-down shooter, I actually like those games. And those are, I'm going to be really excited once we actually do a whole episode on those. But yeah, those were originally released for PC, and then I know Spartan Assault is available on Xbox One as well. I don't know why Strike isn't, but that one's not. It's only on PC.
It could boil down to licensing issues or just porting over or really anything at that point. And they were never made to be core editions. They're made to just be fun arcade stuff, which is just really awesome to play and pick up. And I think that's key to an audience where you already have a saturated market of all this. Why not give them something that's just like a little snack? Yeah,
pretty much. And it's a good snack too. Now, Halo 5's Forge was released on PC September 8th, 2016 on the Microsoft Store for free. This version featured updated graphics, better UI, and custom Forge controls for PC. Though there were lag issues with the mouse, so most users ended up using their controllers anyways. And it also included custom games, which as I said, I don't do a lot with PC. I do zero PC gaming. So I didn't know, I was talking to Alex about this, that there's actually controllers that you can Bluetooth to Windows, which I didn't know that.
Yeah,
so that was cool to find out.
So you, one of the first ones to do it was Sony with the PlayStation 3 controllers. That's what a lot of people still use nowadays because they're cheaper controllers. You can get an off-brand one that'll work just fine. I personally still have a wired Xbox 360 controller that I use for a lot of PC gaming, that I either do through my PC or through my Steam Link for my big screen, for either of those things. So it's Halo 5. So I mean, we'll talk about that later.
It's the Forge, so it's not so much Halo 5. And what we're going to end off this with is that after MCC coming to PC, once that's all said and done, Halo 5 will be the only game that's not on PC.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy to think, which I think we both kind of theorize that they'll kind of just do it under the table. They'll just randomly say, hey, it's here, and no one's really going to touch it.
It's a download pack. We'll have some DLC for Halo. It's coming out. Oh, it's Halo 5. It's not DLC. No. It's just it's good. So it might be something along those lines. It might just be, obviously, from what we've heard from you guys and what just a general consensus is with Halo 5, it's a game not many people enjoy or like or want part of canon. So I think for them, focus your core on everything else in the MCC, and then once Infinite and once your other projects are kind of wrapped up, if you want to spend the money, port it over.
Yeah, and I will say, if they allow multiplayer, which I'm assuming they would, Halo 5 does have, I'd say, the most universally liked multiplayer because they really kind of push it out and conformed to what more people who don't play Halo would want to see in a multiplayer. And I'll give them that.
It is true. I mean, you have still plenty of esports competitions with it. You have plenty that love the loadouts and the styles that were created with it. And it's a decent AAA in its own right. I just don't think it fits the universe of Halo.
No, but again, once we get to Halo 5, and that'll be for a long time, but once we get to the creation of that and all that and the breakdown of the campaign, we can really dive into this. But moving on. So now this is everything that's available for PC from the Halo franchise before MCC was announced coming to PC. And so now we're going to talk about some games that are fan-made, games that people have put a lot of their own time into. And so let's first talk about 3 things that you need to do so you can legally make a Halo fan game. You cannot reuse any assets. So if you make a gun, you have to make that from scratch. It can look like a DMR if you're going to make one. Every asset must be built from the ground up, is what we just said. Everything needs to be built. And then you cannot monetize the game, which means no selling or accepting donations.
And that's what's interesting with this is if you look at any other industry, even look at some of the Star Wars fan films that were made, which were not monetized at all on YouTube. And immediately Disney LucasArts is like, that's ours, that's ours, that's ours. Take those down. What's great and what really hasn't changed too much about the gaming community is developers accept and sometimes really embrace you making these fan-made games. And like we said, if you bring in your own assets and bring everything else to the table that you create, but you're still using, like, let's say the Halo name to it, or somehow it's related to it, it's really cool that they're like, let it be made. It's free advertising for them. It still builds the community up, and it just allows for just so much creativity that they can even pull from.
And that is also kind of the downfall about it, is that you have to realize that people are putting so much of their own time. Think about how much time and money it takes to make a game. Now imagine not getting any of that money.
Exactly.
So it means people are working full time at their jobs, and then they have to come home and work on this.
And I say even at times that may be even better because it's more of a passion project.
True.
It's not driven by the dollar. It's just driven by your love of it.
Or a deadline.
Or a deadline.
Yeah.
I mean, it's driven by so many assets for oneself of I love Halo or I love this universe. I want to make a game, and I'm doing it out of my love and passion and somewhat free time.
Yeah.
So when people like that get recognized, even by just the community, let's say, for some of the games and a few of the modes we're going to talk about here coming up.
Yeah.
It's amazing that people have embraced this over the years and just continue this love and lore that Halo is adopted with.
So let's start with the biggest fan-made game or mod, also a huge controversy, breaking some of these rules that we just laid out that Microsoft said you can go ahead, but follow these. So let's talk about Halo Online. And this is it. The game itself is not fan-made, but it's the mod that was fan-made. So Halo Online was going to be a Russian-exclusive Halo Online game available on PC that was going to be free while having microtransactions. Microsoft partnered with developers Innova Systems and Saber Interactive. The beta was released in the spring of 2015 in Russia. Afterwards, Microsoft decided to cancel the game because supposedly Microsoft had made little to no decisions on the game for 6 months. The game was still seeing some life, and when software developers El Dorito added their 0.6 patch to the game, it saw new life in early April of 2018. This patch included all new Forge mode with almost limitless capabilities, classic gameplay modes, advanced map controls, which include lighting and weather, along with more customization options on your character.
Which is insane because basically what you're doing is you're doing anything that you can do within, let's say, a freeware program to basically design these 3D modeling. You're allowing all these aspects of game creation within the game itself. I mean, these are things that developers, quote unquote, should only be the ones to have access to when they're building, but they're like, give it to everybody. Have fun with it, enjoy it, and build the game you want.
Yeah. And so, in case you're wondering who El Dorito are, this is from the El Dorito website. El Dorito is a community-made mod for Halo Online, a canceled free Halo 3-derived PC game for the Russian market. It allows the game to be played in player-hosted servers and aims to restore removed features, fix bugs and glitches, and add mod support. I didn't know these guys had been actually at this since 2015. Now, shortly after they released this 0.6 mod or patch, Microsoft served a cease and desist on the developers, and anyone streaming the patch on Twitch would get penalized for this, which is kind of crazy. And we could do a whole other episode just about the idea of, should people get penalized for streaming this game or this patch, because it has Microsoft assets that were built on.
Yeah, because technically, like we said before, it is illegal. You're taking copyrighted material. Even if you are altering it, it is still on top of that already copyrighted material, and you're basically streaming this stuff, which in turn is the same type of deal if you were to watch a movie that's streamed online. It's kind of taking the same approach for that.
Yeah, and believe it or not, this game is still up for download. You can still download it and play it. Just don't stream it on YouTube or Twitch, because you will get taken down. It will get taken down, and you will get penalized for it, which we will be doing an episode eventually about a majority of these fan games that we're talking about. They just either need to be completely developed, or we just, we'll have the time to eventually do it. Something about Halo Online that a lot of people don't know, you need gaming computers. You can play Halo Online on a laptop easily. Because the 2 times I've ever tried to play a game on my shitty little laptop, it just sounds like it's mining Bitcoin. Like the fan is going crazy.
Well, and that's the thing too, is having such a smaller asseted game, because at the time, it's huge for having the Xbox to have to pull that, the PC at the time to have to pull that. But with a modern day system, even if you have a lower end system, you're still able to run that.
Exactly. Since the 0.6 drop in last April, over 1 million games have been played. The El Dorito team has since met with members of 343 Industries and the Halo community, and they were asked simply to, quote, pause development. 343 Industries did make this official statement on the situation. Quote, one thing remains clear. The community really wants more Halo on PC. And as we look ahead, we're very excited about the prospects of an official classic Halo experience making its way to PC. And we hope to be able to partner with the El Dorito team and broader mod and content creation community to help inform the types of experiences and features our fans desire. While we have nothing to announce today, please know the PC community is very important to us and top of mind as we work towards the future. Many speculate, you and I included, that this was the push for MCC coming to PC.
It was. And we said before that Halo Wars 2 was released right when it came for Xbox. So Microsoft already had it in the mind. But having especially mod makers and PC users who grew up with Halo, these are people who could have basically potentially been Bungie employees at the time, if they were of that same age and era, that they could have been doing this. So for Microsoft and everyone involved to kind of reach out to them, be like, hey, let's talk. I mean, that's big. That's big that you have that push towards PC, towards what Alex loves to play, and he'll play MCC on both systems now.
Yeah.
I mean, it allows for so much more. And once again, we'll touch on a lot more of this too as we go through, but one of my favorite things that's a potential to be added, it's rumored right now, is the ability to add mods.
Yeah.
Having that Steam Workshop and having people being able to set it on there is going to be very awesome.
Yeah. So the second biggest project currently that a lot of people are talking about is Installation 01. Now, Installation 01 is a fan-made PC multiplayer game developed by Soon Studios with the intention to bring back a classic Halo multiplayer experience, taking inspiration from Halo 2 and 3. Though in custom games, you can include armor abilities from 4 and 5. This game allows so much customization, down to the individual armor plates, and everything can have its own color. Soon Studios basically just wants to make a Halo game that they feel is perfect. So kind of elements from every game.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. So basically you're saying, taking what, like I said before in our previous episodes, I love 2 and 3. I love the multiplayer there. So you're basically taking the armor sets, so the hundreds of different types of armor you could do with that, from headpieces and all of that. Also having loadouts, I assume, taking that same kind of idea and armor abilities that you'd have and bringing that to the landscape of 2 and 3. It's really cool, and it's I think what a lot of people really wanted from the original MCC was to kind of have your classic mode of playing through your game, but being able to have all the assets that are included within those games going between them.
Yeah, and 2 things that I find very interesting about Installation 01 is A, they made a Master Chief armor set from when it was going to be on the Mac. So we have a 2018 or 19 version of that Master Chief we saw way back in the day when Steve Jobs presented him, which I think is phenomenal. And 2, it's a fan-made game, a multiplayer game, but it has its own soundtrack. And it was this soundtrack was composed by, and I might butcher this name, Jaffe Meza, who also did a soundtrack for Halo SPV3, which we'll talk about here very soon. Now, as of right now, this game is not released. We don't even have a beta yet for this game. But the developers are still working and releasing weekly updates with this game. And so far, over 100,000 fans have already signed up on their website.
That's cool. That's just so neat that over these years, like we've still continued to grow this Halo base, that people have done these grassroots kind of campaigns with their own production studios, doing like soundtracks, doing everything.
That's the thing that blows my mind. Is those 2 facts I said, is that we have this classic, never made it to a game armor set, and that the fact that they're putting time into a soundtrack. And I'm not talking just like a title screen track. Like, you can find a whole soundtrack. I've listened to it. It's beautiful. It's so reminiscent of classic Halo. Like, my mind is blown by it. It's so good. I love it so much.
Well, and if you ever go to a fan-made game or an indie game, it's typically some weird kind of 8-bit version of it, or it's light and flighty. That's an easy GarageBand type thing. But to actually have someone produce something for this, whether through all digital or through actually recording instruments or however your process may be, it shows that you really want to put the time and effort and money into these type of projects.
Exactly. It's amazing. Now, let's move on to another one, which I didn't know about this project until I started researching for this episode, which is Halo SPV3, which stands for Single Player Version 3. It's a mod for Halo Custom Edition. Remember that Halo CE that's on the PC?
Yes.
It's a remask of the original Combat Evolved, using tools for the custom edition, but for the campaign experience. This game has brand new graphics, as well as, some new twists in the original Halo Combat Evolved PC. So, as I was researching for this episode, I watched a trailer for this, and holy shit, my mind was blown by this. The graphics look great, but not only that, I'm going to name off everything I saw as I was watching this trailer, because I basically was just taking notes as I was watching. So you have drivable Wraith tanks, which you didn't have in Halo CE. You have you have a room that could have gravity, and you can basically turn it off. And so, giving yourself some kind of space-esque battles. You have brutes in this game, and the brutes themselves are a mix of Halo 2 and 3 brutes. You have a grenade that when you throw it, it's like a magnet and vehicles come toward it, and that's one way you can splatter. You can get splatter damage on enemies from that.
Yes.
Instead of the spirit drop shits, we have phantoms. We also saw the thorn beasts. We saw those come back. You have night vision. You have the beam rifle. You have elite honor guards. You have the brute shot. You have mongooses back. You have the golden hunters from Halo 3 ODST. You have the ability to use those hunters' guns. You have a grenade launcher mount on the assault rifle. You have a Spectre. You not only have a Scorpion tank, it's I believe a Grizzly tank. You have flood-infected brutes as well. You have a DMR. You have the BR. You have Jackal Shield mounted weapons. You can use the Jackal's shield now. You also have the Enforcer Sentinels that you see in Halo 2. You also have Sentinel beams that you can use. You also have skirmishers that are back. You have the flamethrower. You have the SMG. This game features skulls, custom loadouts, and reach-style abilities like the sprint in the overshield, as well as it has the Halo reach-style data pads. So you have that sense of all the other games that have terminals and whatnot. You have that in this game as well. They threw everything in there but the kitchen sink, and holy shit, it looks amazing. As well as like flood infected areas look beautiful.
This to me seems like what Halo Infinite should be when it comes out. It should be this world where we're seeing basically every asset that can be included.
Yeah.
And that's the hope as we get towards more and more info, as we talk about later. As we get closer and closer to Infinite, just seeing what they're going to include, because this is the type of stuff that if Microsoft and their port studios and 343 doesn't pay attention to, you're going to lose out to some of these games.
Yeah, because what reviews I've seen of this game already are amazing. And when I watched the trailer, it highlighted each mission of the game, and it showed.
Sure.
Some other things I learned is that there are areas in Halo CE, if you like look up at a hill, you're like, I wish I could go to that hill. You can go to that fucking hill. You can go there now. Like, they've expanded it so much. Another thing I forgot to mention is we have the blind wolf, like that T-Rex with no arms.
Sure.
Those are like fightable enemies. Like now, like they can come and like mess with you and your Marines. Like the amount of things that they put into this game, it's such a fan service plus more. Like, holy shit.
And that's the type of thing that, reiterating, as a fan, I would love to see. Even if it's just some weird addition to Infinite, even if they buy out these mod makers and have these as official mods. And the hope is that we see something like this, especially with MCC coming to Steam and having a Steam workshop. If Microsoft either pairs with this developer or can get some official mods out, that's huge.
Yeah, because it's, as I said, like, oh my God, we will for sure be, as I said, we're going to be doing episodes about a majority of these, but this will probably be top of our list because, my God, it looks amazing. Now, the mod is free. Of course, all of these things are free. And I can't give you an official website. I know I Googled it, and there was a Reddit post that I saw that's officially like, here it is. You need to have Halo CE to download it and mod it. And again, this as well has its own soundtrack. Again, composed by Jaffe Meza, which is crazy because and I listened to some of this too, and there are some original tracks and there are some revamped tracks. Like, I cannot wait to do a whole episode and play this. Now, let's move on to a different take on a Halo mod. This isn't a first-person one at all. We're going back to an RTS setting. Now, let's talk about Sins of the Prophet. This is from their website. Sins of the Prophets is a Halo Total Conversion mod for Sins of the Solar Empire that has been under development for the past 5 years. Shout out to them, by the way. Sins of the Prophets strives to bring gritty, fast-paced feeling of Halo universe to life in the most visceral, intense manner possible in this 4X strategy game. Now, it's cool for this that it's an RTS and it's all space battles, which I think is really cool. And this game features the UNSC, the Covenant, and the Flood. I will say 100%. I would love to do an episode about this, but I watched some playthroughs of this. This game looks complex. Maybe I'm an idiot and it's not as complex as it looks, but holy shit, it looks complex.
It depends. I mean, I've never played it, but I know games like this, especially space battle stuff where you're kind of micromanaging certain areas.
It's like it
can go either way.
Dude, it looks crazy. And it looks fun if I can get it down. Again, PC gaming's not my thing. RTSs aren't my thing. I would love to even just watch you do it and take notes.
For sure.
As is finish the fight fashion.
Well, of course. And for all those out there, I will be educating Jesse on PC gamings, what a computer is, and how to do stuff. So that's definitely going to happen as we continue through this.
I will for sure be learning how to play PC just for Halo SPV3.
Exactly.
Very excited
he'll learn
for
what
that.
the W key does, the A key, the S key, and he'll learn all of it. The one thing I like about the Sins of Prophets is that it's not just a reskin that continues the game on. They've added assets and they've gone through and changed things to get this whole mod going. And it's really cool that this game is still currently active. With these fan-made projects, at times you may see 3 or 4 versions released, which is a godsend, which is a lot of work. But to have this game continue to go and still gets regular updates, that's huge.
Yeah. So a few other efforts that we're trying to bring life to Halo PC. So we have Downfall, which is a campaign based about an elite ODST group fighting the Covenant in the midst of an invasion. We have Coral, a game built on the Unity engine. You are part of a group of Spartan 3s fighting in the outer quality world Coral. It's also supposed to have firefight modes that are reminiscent of ODST and Reach. We also have Project Contingency, which is a multiplayer fan game made on the Unreal Engine 4. We have Project Cartographer, which is a Halo 2 PC mod that was shut down in 2015. We also have Glast, which is being developed in an Unreal Engine 4. And now, there's not a lot of information about this one. We saw kind of an engine demo, but we didn't see enemies. We didn't see anything else. But it did look beautiful.
That's the thing. If you can release this in Unreal 4, that's freaking huge. I mean, that's just gonna be a pretty game overall.
Yeah, well, you got to think pretty, and then UI, and
I mean, it's because Unreal is still one of my favorite engines of all time, and to see like Unreal 4, which you're using from everything from gaming to AI to all these different artificial realities, especially in like CGI and room building, it's really cool to see that they're doing that. Now, I have a question for you real quick. Now, with Downfall.
Yes.
Now, was that before ODST?
See, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think I asked because I follow their official Instagram, and I had asked if this was going to be reminiscent of that or within the same timeline, and I don't remember the answer, but I'm pretty sure the answer is no. So it's not going to be associated, and I think it's going to be a campaign, but it's not associated with it at all. As much as I kind of want it, the idea that we might get another ODST, like a Halo 3 ODST, is exciting.
It is, because as you know, as one of your favorite games in the franchise, it was cool to be able to be that dropship trooper, that Marine that was there with the Spartans. That was usually just cannon fodder before, but now you're able to be them. It's really neat. So hopefully we get something that tells that same kind of really gritty, just brutal story.
Yeah, and it seems like we're going to have this nighttime rainy setting, which I think they are going to be taking some aspects of Halo 3 ODST, which is fine because it was amazing.
Sure.
Now, finally, let's get to the topic at hand, the reason why we're doing this episode. The Master Chief Collection itself. Let's talk about the Master Chief Collection.
Sure.
The Master Chief Collection was originally released November 11th, 2014. It had Halo Combat Evolved, along with Halo Combat Evolved 10-year anniversary. It had Halo 2, and then the Halo 2 10-year anniversary, which was the premiere for the game. That's the only way you could get it. Then we also had Halo 3 and Halo 4. In December of 2014, it was announced that Halo 3 ODST was added to the collection. It was added on as a DLC along with some few other perks. Though you had to have played MCC during a certain duration of dates in order to get it for free. But you could have then just gotten it for $5,
which is worth it right there. It doesn't matter either way.
Absolutely. Now, I know a lot of people are really speculating, and I'm assuming this is the case. People added it because basically MCC's release was buggy. We all kind of know this, and we'll do a whole episode about MCC and all the issues, it had and whatnot. And again, Microsoft or 343 didn't address this for another year or so about all these issues before they tried to fix it. So I don't think anyone was too terribly mad. We're like, okay, we're getting ODST on here.
Precisely, and you're getting you're getting everything. Like, that's the thing, is you're getting everything wrapped into one, which is fantastic. And then we want to preface this as we go through. So this is kind of a newsy podcast as we get to this point. So we're recording this on April 22nd, 2019. So like I said, it's going to be a bit of a newsy podcast when we get to this point. So we want to make sure that you guys have the up-to-date knowledge of when we're recording it and then when we release it, which is this upcoming Friday, April 26th.
Yeah, so anything can happen in these next 4 days, the second we stop recording this episode, and we won't have it on the podcast because this podcast takes a few days alone to edit and make sure everything sounds good. So if something comes, if say tomorrow they're like, holy shit, we're adding Halo 5 to it too, we're not gonna be able to put it back on this podcast. So just so you know, there's a 4-day window where something could happen. We're just covering our asses right now because I'm expecting we'll get a message being like, hey, this thing happened. Be like, nah, check the date, son.
Because that's what we do.
Now, on March 12th, 2019, at South by Southwest, Microsoft had announced that the Master Chief Collection is coming to PC. The MCC will be available on Steam and the Microsoft Store. The goal for this release is to have it feel like a modern PC game. That's what they wanted. They don't want this to feel like a port. Mm-hmm. And Brian Gerard had stated that, it isn't, in fact, a port, that they wanted it to be a release on their own. It's also been stated that 343 Industries is working with members of El Dorito on this.
Yeah, and I think it's necessary. Like, if they're not wanting to do a port, you're rebuilding it. I mean, and you have to be with a team that knows PC, that understands these nuances, and also knows how to use a mouse and keyboard.
Pretty much. Now, these games will be released in chronological order, one at a time. We're not going to get the whole thing. So the first thing we will be getting is Halo Reach.
And we're talking chronologically by time and date of the universe, not when they were released.
Yeah. So Halo Reach, Halo CE, 2, 3, 4. So that's how it's going to go. Now, 343 has partnered with Ruffian Games and Splash Damage in order to help them bring MCC to PC. So let's do a little snippet about these two developers. Ruffian Games is a British game developer founded in 2008 who helped with the initial release of the Master Chief Collection. We also have Splash Damage, is another British game development company and was founded in 2001. They've worked on games such as Arkham Origins, Gears of War, and Doom 3. They've won several awards such as the Develop Industry Excellence Award for Best Independent Studio and Guardian Top 100 UK Tech and Media Companies.
So it sounds like with having these two developers on there, that we're not only getting a decent group of people who've worked on Microsoft games, but we're also getting games from Master Chief Collection that are going to be feeling like true PC games, almost new AAAs almost. Seems. So what's awesome about having those two studios and basically having a comeback with them having the MCC is we're getting Reach, as we announced before, which is nuts because we don't have it currently on the Xbox. We're going to get a little teaser with it, which is going to be kind of cool, but it's going to be the launch title, quote unquote, for Master Chief Collection for PC. Because we are going in that kind of timeline order of them.
Yeah.
What's nuts is that we're going to have this coming to Xbox One and PC on 4K 60 frames. So we're getting that just beautiful deliciousness of
amazing
frame rate, some 4K action, which is going to be fantastic. And so this means that we'll have 6 total games under the MCC banner, 8 if we have like the anniversary editions of 1 and 2, which I would say give them half. I give them 1 total game.
Yeah, 1 total game.
Because you push the back button, basically. But it's going to be the first game, as we said, coming to PC. So it's kind of the flagship they're going to have, which is nice because it was already kind of a next-gen game when it was wrapping up on the 360 going to the Xbox One at that time. So you already have those assets that you just need to give a little oomph to that visual update. And you've already got the game. So it's great that we're going to have that. And then the one thing, too, is that if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you'll get Halo Reach as part of this subscription. So on your Xbox One Halo Master Chief Collection, you're already going to be able to get to play that, which is going to be great.
Let's talk about the general reaction of people who, heard this, Xbox and PC fans alike. As you expect, just about everyone was ecstatic about the news of Halo finally returning to PC. Though there are those who are trying to be gatekeepers about Halo. There are people who are saying, well, we have this younger generation this is the first time they're going to experience Halo, is on PC, and they had no interest before then, which I will say, who cares?
Yeah.
If we want this fan base to grow, let's have the fan base grow, and especially let's A, introduce it to a younger audience, and B, people who would have never touched it because they just don't want to play a console game. They like the feel of a mouse and a keyboard.
I 100% agree. I mean, my whole thing of gaming has evolved over time. I was able to do console gaming. I was able to rent them when I was younger because Blockbuster used to rent consoles.
Oh.
So I used to rent my N64. But I was a console player because PCs were newer. I guess you would say newer when I was younger. And my parents didn't know much about it. So then when I was able to afford my own and build my own PC, that's when I switched. Yeah. So the elitism of going between a console and a PC, or even saying Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo, I think it's silly. I think if you want to play a game and enjoy it with others. And so I'm really glad that Microsoft is opening us up to others who may not have an Xbox, may like exclusively game on PC, or that, you know, their dad or mom or brother, sister have a gaming PC, and now they can enjoy that game with everyone else.
Yeah. Other people are afraid that this is going to be like the death of Xbox because we have, you know, the biggest exclusive title now not being exclusive anymore, which I don't think it's going to be the death of Xbox.
I don't think it is either, but I think Microsoft is making the smart move of bringing their content to their other platform.
Yeah.
You had really bad sales of the Xbox One when it first came out. There's promises that were not kept. The system just was buggy and had a garbage interface.
I will say, I think the biggest thing about that was the launch titles. They didn't exist. Like, there weren't any good
Sunset
ones.
Overdrive, I mean, a couple others. And then you had titles like Rise, which was kind of pushing the Kinect and was supposed to be this really cool launch title where you play this kind of Spartan gladiator, just garbage. And Sony just blew them out of the water with their titles, with being a better system that could support 4K before they could. And you had just a better launch for Sony. So Microsoft was hurting hardcore until a couple of these exclusives, especially Master Chief Collection, pushed the console up a bit.
Yeah. Well, I remember I worked at Walmart at the time it was released. I think I had to stay for like the midnight release itself. And it was pretty lackluster, you would think, because I know like when the 360 was released, go to a Walmart or any game or any store that would have that, and it's a lot different. There were lines and lines as compared to Walmart. It was lackluster.
The 360 is still in history one of the best-selling consoles of all time. Microsoft did pretty well with the Xbox, and then did amazing with the 360.
Yeah.
And this is a whole different topic, but I think achievements helped a huge amount with that.
Oh, I know people like my buddy Wayne who are obsessed with achievements.
I mean, achievements really what brought a lot of games back to life, especially single-player one-time playthroughs, some multiplayers that were kind of you had that. So I think Microsoft, getting back to the point, Microsoft bringing MCC to PC is a little bit of fanfare, but awesome marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Because this allows you to now push the Windows Store a bit, push Steam, so they're not going to get the same revenue stream they're going to have if you get through the Windows Store, but it's still producing longevity in their software.
Yeah. And so something I love about, we're talking about the general reaction, is that fans were so fucking excited about this that they were sending 343 Industries pizza. And they sent them so much pizza that two things happened. Domino's website crashed from this.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. And then they publicly asked people to stop sending pizza. I was seeing pictures. Some people were sending cakes. It's so crazy that I see a lot of people talk about how the Halo community is dying. But when we get something that we like, we crash websites over it because we're so excited about it.
So if you guys would like to send anything our way, here's our P.O. box and whatnot.
Send us pizza or...
So go ahead and send us that PM. We'll send you the address.
Yeah, exactly. And pizza or beer, PBRs. Alex is always sipping on PBRs.
PBRs. We're not sponsored yet, but we'll gladly take them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think my favorite thing about this is that veteran Halo players are planning on using their old gamer tags. That way they can, on PC, that way that they can find people that they were playing Halo with years ago, which is cool. But at the same time, there's going to be one guy that has XXX Pussy Slayer XXX, and he's like, I'm almost 30. I can't use that anymore.
Hey, it depends what your level was in those old games.
True.
No, it is neat that there is this revival of especially people who played it when they were younger and can now play it older and just relive a lot of their favorite moments. Like I said, I'm more of a nostalgia player with Halo 2 and Halo 3 being my games. And so seeing this and being able to play with I would say a lot more friends. It's like I said, I'm more of a PC player now, and being able to have those Steam friends and others that I know are going to purchase it, I know are going to stream it. It's really cool that we have that ability now.
So shortly after the announcement of MCC to PC, Halo's community manager, Brian Gerard, aka Sketch, and instead of a T, it's a 7, went on Reddit to answer many questions regarding the upcoming release of MCC and Reach coming to PC. Now, there's a lot of PC jargon on here, and a layman like myself cannot understand it. So we have PC expert Alex here to kind of explain to me, because I kind of stopped halfway through reading through all of these and Googling, like, what the fuck does this mean? What the fuck does this mean? What the fuck does this mean? So take it away, Alex.
Sure. So like a quick summary of kind of what Sketch had, or Sketch7, however you want to say his name.
Sketch7.
So the flight test, kind of getting the first audience in there. It's kind of been speculated that they have it at the end of April. As of today, April 22nd, there's still like, hey, PC's hard to do stuff on. There's still no official. They want to push, I guess, the next 2 weeks, week and a half. We'll see if that's a reality.
We could have it tomorrow. We don't know.
We don't know, but I know that's one thing they're trying to push for. They're having a little bit of dealings with.
And we'll talk about the Halo Insider and Flight program after this whole thing here very soon.
For sure. And so we'll kind of go for me down to that PC experience, so kind of what they're trying to go towards. So the PC requirements, for most of you that have a higher end PC, have built your PC, even mid-tier will more than likely be able to handle a lot of this.
So what about my laptop from 2011 that I can't open Google Chrome without it freaking out on me?
I would say right now, no.
Damn it.
Just to give you a very clear estimate of me, but we'll see what they come out with.
Damn it.
But PC requirements, we'll see whenever they do a final flight test to kind of see how things are going. But like I said, if you're running the latest Windows 10, Windows 7, possibly Windows 8, they're pushing to see where they're going to hit in that, you're more than likely fine.
Yeah.
Frame rate, like most AAA titles right now, they're trying to go with an unlocked frame rate so that whatever your monitor and computer can push, they'll try and do that so as not to cap it at 60, 120, anything like that.
Anything you want, baby. It's yours.
Hopefully. We'll see what there is. So then they're going to have, they're basically going to work with a lot of their controller, keyboard and mouse controls to see how those things are going to work.
I had to Google KB and M. I was like, what is KB and M?
You know what? For us, that's how I just call it keyboard and mouse. But because sometimes when you have a port, such as when Dark Souls came over, you just kind of are like, well, use a controller, just slap a keyboard and mouse in there. And there's input delay, there's lag, there's latency issues that are different from a console to a PC. So to see them actually pushing those controls and working within those, not even limitations, working within what they can do with it is huge. So they're going to try and make sure that you get the same experience you have with your controller as what you're going to have with a mouse and keyboard. You're probably going to see a lot of people using the mouse and keyboard just because traditionally with shooters, it's a lot easier to point your gun with your mouse where you can quick whip it, kind of point to where you want to go instead of having a right stick to move it around. So we'll see how those two kind of go within that. So your field of view sliders is something that they're going to try and put in for sure. It's going to vary game to game just because of each development cycle. You had a different way that they even did the art style. So we'll see kind of how that pans out too. So another thing that they're looking to investigate is center crosshairs, possibly creating your own, like as what you'd have in Overwatch or other competitive shooters where you're able to kind of differentiate the color and how the crosshair looks for you is a whole nother thing. They're actually going to have ultra wide support. So you're going to have 21:9. Now, you super ultra wide weirdos that bought your giant like 32:9s, we'll see. But for right now, you're going to have windowed mode, of course, 21:9, your traditional 16:9, 16:10 is which I use. And then for you people who are stuck in the past, a 3x2 and a 4x3. Another nice thing that we're going to have is PC crossplay. So the hope is to eventually get it to have PC and Xbox crossplay, but to have it in Steam and Windows Store right now is really nice to have so that you're not restricted to just play with your Steam friends. You can play with your one friend who for some reason is on the Windows Store religiously. You don't normally talk to them in real life, but I guess you have that one friend in Windows Store. But you'll have that.
We all have a friend in Windows Store. I don't know it yet, but I do.
Oh, but you do. And like every other PC title out right now, you have an anti-cheat. There's no details on who they're going to use for that, whether they're going to be buggy garbage like Apex with their anti-cheat that EA informed, or whether you're going to actually have a decent anti-cheat out there.
I'm only about pro cheat, so this is an issue for me.
If they're using the anti-cheat that Apex uses, you can cheat as much as you want. You're fine. So they're going to have, hopefully, the Combat Evolved content coming to PC for their map support. So they're kind of exploring that to be able to use all the maps, including the other just PC maps, which we do have on the Master Chief Collection for Xbox One. So we'll have that. And the one thing that I'm most excited about, and this is what I love, and what really brings longevity to games, and it's why I put 200 or 300 hours into Skyrim, is mod support. So they are working close to the modding community. So El Dorito, which is a big one for them.
They've also got some people from Installation 01,
which is
sniped over.
Which is smart. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Pay them to do it instead of just having them do it themselves.
Instead of them being like, I'm kind of miserable. I'm not making money off this. And then they get an email and they're like, I'm going to make money off of this now.
Yeah, and I'm just excited about it because I would love to have Ronald McDonald as the chief. So if someone can start working on that now to give me a Ronald McDonald skin for Master Chief that shoots French fries out and just murders Grimace and the Hamburglar, I will gladly be paying you. No, it's really cool that they're going with Steam as well because you have the Steam Workshop, you have all these abilities to create this content, which is really going to be, I think, a longevity and a rebirth to the game. Not only as a PC, you're having the ability to mod, possibly, they're still working on it, but more than likely you're going to have it at some point. But it brings longevity and allows those mod makers right now to be able to use this and create more. I mean, that's how Skyrim has lived. That's how Divinity 2 and how other games that I play, like RimWorld, you have such a huge user base that creates mods for it that even if it's a simple lighting texture or, hey, we added this gun or this supply thing, it just changes up your experience and makes it more enjoyable over time.
Yeah. So what else did Sketch talk about on his AMA?
So one of the things that I touched on a little bit earlier was the cross-platform progression. So we talked about it going between Steam and Windows. And so between your MCC and PC versions and then the progress you have on Halo Reach and Xbox 360, it won't carry over. So that's kind of the thing that we talked about. We knew that between these older systems and going between PC, that those things won't continue. They never really have between games. It's always been more of a local file, and trying to do achievements and stuff like that doesn't really go between.
Which is disappointing, but it's the name of the game. You can't really expect anything else.
It's the reality of it. I mean, it's just like if you Grand Theft Auto 5, you don't have any progression between PC and Xbox or PlayStation when you played it on it. You have to go between each system.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's local files, it's written for different games.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily want someone, for some reason, finding an exploit on, let's say, Halo Reach Xbox 360, they found an exploit that can get them max level right away and then put it right onto this PC port and then just be crushing people because you've maxed out.
Exactly.
So that's unfortunate, I guess you would say, but it was
It's one of the things you're just kind of like, that sucks, but I've already moved past it by the end of this sentence.
Exactly. So those are the things that I don't think a lot of people are concerned about, but one that people are is if we're going to eventually have that Xbox One PC crossplay. It's not currently committed, and it's not really known about. It will more than likely not appear at launch because that's something you're going to have to beta test for a long while behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And you've seen it in other games where basically they'll do a cross-play and they won't tell you that you're playing with PC players, or they won't tell you you're playing with PlayStation players.
You just hear a guy on a mic go, God damn it, my keyboard broke, and then you're instantly like, what?
Yep.
The keyboard attachment on your controller, and they're like, no, my keyboard that I type, and then you're like,
Yep, that's how
my God.
that's how PC players play. My keyboard that I type on broke.
I don't know this.
Oh
stuff.
no, my plug-in mouse. No, so you won't hear it right now. And then one other thing that We'll see probably more and more now that Microsoft is dedicating, especially Master Chief Collection, but probably more of their titles to the PC, is that Play Anywhere option. PlayStation somewhat had it with their PSP, rest in peace. PSP Go or PSP Vita? Was the Vita?
I don't know.
I
I
think
had a
it's the Vita.
PSP and I watched a lot of Family Guy on it. I'll tell you that.
So the Vita allowed for you to take your PlayStation game with you. You basically, it's kind of like what Steam does when you do like a Steam Link or do like a crossplay, where you can have it running on a system, but you play it elsewhere.
Yeah.
So they had that. The Switch, you just take the whole damn system with you.
I don't touch our Switch, but I love that Switch.
Oh, it's great. So I think when you have this, where you'd be like, if I had let's say I had a laptop, gaming laptop, the ideal thing would be if I'm playing at home on my Xbox and I'm like, hey, I'm going to uni or I'm going to the store. You know, when you got time in Target to sit down in an aisle, you pop on that like 2 megabit internet right there, and you just pop on some Halo MCC.
You go off Starbucks internet.
Yeah, you get some SBMCC. That's what you need. So the Play Anywhere option of being able to go between your Xbox One and MCC, like on your PC with Master Chief Collection. Another thing that's speculated, and it's another thing that I guarantee they would love to do, and it's something that I think everyone would love to have. It's just going to come down to how do we execute it? What do we need to execute it? And when is that reality going to become a reality for everyone?
And it'll probably be a long time. I mean, it's very, I don't want to say futuristic, but it's still out there to have it happening.
I think it's a shorter time than we think, because you're going between a product that is already owned. I think once you get this port done and Microsoft starts making ports for all of their products as they go along.
Yeah.
So with Gears coming out very soon, it'll be interesting if it's going to be just a Microsoft Xbox exclusive, if it's going to be with PC and Xbox, or what we're going to do with that. Because that, to me, I don't want to say it's the future of gaming. It's the trend that people have now, that now that PCs are very much in, and building and customizing your own PCs are huge, and it's something I'm doing right now is building my other PC that I'm doing. It's nice to know that I have that option out there that's not restricted to me just sitting on my couch.
Yeah. So what about updates to MCC itself?
So one of the ones that I think a lot of the community is asking for, and I think what a lot of people really want from this game, is some Forge quality of life and improvements in it. So Forge will be releasing after the initial release. So you get Reach coming out, obviously. You've got to get some bugs and everything else figured out.
With just the campaign alone and multiplayer.
Exactly, because like we said, it's not just a port, it's a full rebuild. So it's going to require a huge amount of effort and get those assets in. But I don't develop games. I don't touch any of that. But I assume once they get that factor figured out, it's going to be easier to add assets on a PC where they originate anyway.
Exactly.
Than it would be to then have to port it over to a console system. So the quality of life and improvements in Forge is one thing that a lot of people are asking for, and I think will be really well received. So another thing that you're going to have is armor customization, which I know that you're super pumped for. So it's be able to mix and match that customization of armor for Reach. Not right now for Halo 3 and other titles. So we'll see. I assume, once again, that's why they're testing Reach Out, because you had most of this in there already.
Yeah.
And it's unlocked via in-game progression. No monetization at this point on April 22nd.
At this point, at April 22nd. It could come out tomorrow that if you want the Grenadier, no, not the Grenadier. I think it's the Inheritor is the last one. I could be wrong, but I'm pulling this out of my ass right now.
Yeah.
If you want that, just give us $100 and it's yours.
You may have to do some XX Mountain Dew $69. We don't know yet.
But as of right now, it's a no.
And more than likely they won't. So this is a franchise that never really dabbled into it until you got to Halo 5. And
which is, I think, is another reason why it's such a more popular one to the general public, because we can just kind of pay for things and get more things.
Pay to play. I mean, you could pay to play, you could pay to win. And I think that allowed, I mean, it was around the same model that Call of Duty was following.
Yeah. Well, same with, I haven't played the online for Halo Wars 2, but from what I've read and seen people talk about is that you can buy your way to the top on Halo Wars 2, which is successful as a game that is. that's one of the biggest problems, if not the main problem with that game, is how much they monetized the online for that.
And that's an issue I'll have if they do continue with it. I don't mind monetization in games. I get that the $60, $70, whatever people are spending on your game is a one-time purchase. And if you want to continue to do things like what they're doing and what like Grand Theft Auto Online has done and what plenty of others have done, I'm okay with it there as long as it does not hinder me playing the game.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between you can pay for maybe the occasional, like a better weapon, but not top tier, or you want better armor, better skins. But if you can buy your way to this grandiose level and have these weapons that are infinitely better than people who are working their ass off, who are some broke, dumb college student like me who can't afford to buy a very nice weapon, then yeah, it's going to become an issue after a while.
It is, and that's where the issue arises. I'm fine with loot boxes. I'm fine with anything that's a cosmetic change, that's anything that improves your gaming experience as long as it doesn't hinder others.
Yeah.
Because then it just becomes this unfair platform where, you are praising the people who do spend $400 or $500 a month in your game, as opposed to the people who are just playing it because they love your game and want to continue. So,
or they want something at that top tier and they're working their ass off night and day. I never got that electricity effect in Halo Reach, and I played so long to try to get it, but I never got it. Needless to say, who knows, there might be an ability to buy that later on instead of grinding for it.
And as long as it's something like that, once again, where it doesn't hinder someone else's experience, I'm okay with that. If you want to charge $400 that you get the whole armor set for everything, go ahead.
If you want to spend $400 on that.
If you want to drop $400, you drop $400 because that's something that is passionate for you, that you really want to put your time-earned money into, and that's fine. If I want to earn it my way, I earn it my way. It's okay. You just have to make sure that, like you said, it's not hindering other players from playing.
Yeah, because then that will officially make people not want to play. People who don't want to spend that kind of money and have fair matches, they realize you can just pay to be on top. So Microsoft, 343, if you're listening, you're not. But if you are for some reason, and you for some reason want to listen to two podcasters on the internet, don't do that.
Because you know what that'll make us? Micro hard. So going back onto multiplayer, so Reach being our first game that we're going to have, there's no specifics on if we're going to have some Reach multiplayer playlists, but I think we're going to really look to the community feedback, and I think looking at like more than like what was your favorite stuff, and 343 and these other studios are going to pull from all that and be like, hey, you guys remember this stuff you did? And it's going to be a little bit of nostalgia, but also for some new audiences.
Everyone's going to say big team battle. Everyone's going to say big team battle. And as well as the infection on there and the SWAT and the griff ball were all big time things. Even team shotguns and team snipers. Like Reach had such amazing playlists. And then you even had the custom games that you could do with that. Just incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Another thing I'm very excited for, and it's one of the let's say play modes you had that you saw in Gears that kind of moved over here, which is Firefight. Reach will have Firefight, which is huge. And like I said, that's one of my favorite game modes because I love tower defense-y wave type stuff, and it was fun in ODST, which unfortunately, Firefight is not a priority at this time, because they're going to focus on get the ODST campaign to PC.
Firefight on ODST.
Specifically on ODST. Sorry, I was bringing that up. So on ODST is where we first saw that, and then it's like, well, got to do the campaign first.
Well, I think it was improved on Reach. So
100%.
So I'd say I'd rather do the one on Reach than ODST, because when I played it on ODST, I was a fan, but I was like, there's something kind of being, that's left to be desired. And then you get to Reach where you can just do whatever you want on there. And I was like, oh, this is much better. Which I'm not saying it was bad, but it was definitely heavily improved.
Yeah. And it makes sense, too, because you have to port all of these over. And once again, it's not just a direct port. You're actually basically recreating the game. So I am fine with all this. The only issue I'll have is timelines, which we're going to keep covering on and letting you guys know how these things turn out.
And
But we need to make sure that if you're buying MCC on PC, that it's not 3 years down the road that you get Halo 2.
Well, we'll talk about the timeline here soon, the projected timeline. So we have the Halo Insider program, which is basically the flight tests, your way to play MCC on PC and be able to give feedback. Now, there is a YouTuber, BBK Dracoon. He did a great video because last year they were doing flight tests for MCC for Xbox, and a lot of people were doing this and giving a lot of feedback, and a lot of people liked doing this. So he has a video that lays out everything you need to know and how you sign up and what you need. So basically an overhaul of everything that he says is you go to haloinsider.com, you go to sign up, and you go through a lot of things. They're going to ask you what you're interested in, whether it's multiplayer, campaign, Forge. And something that I didn't know they could do is that you basically give 343 permission to scan your computer. And what that does is that gives 343 all the information they need to know about what kind of computer you're working with. And at any given time, if you change something on your computer, you can just rescan your computer. And they all have this stuff on file, basically.
So obviously not being a big PC nerd, you have not done betas before.
No.
And it's this is a usual thing you'll see on betas, and it's really cool that they are dedicating an entire site to it. So I've been in a couple of betas. I've done like the Magic the Gathering beta. I've done the Elder Scrolls beta. A couple other ones they've had, and it's really neat. Like you said, it gives them all the data they need to know, which will help them set PC requirements. If you have, let's say you buy a new, 2080 graphics card, or some high-end graphics card, they'll see that, and they're able to see, okay, so you can play on Ultra at high settings on this. And like you said, it's nice that they have a sign up for this, because a lot of sites I've done this with, it's just like, give us an email. Oh, we're gonna scan your system. Okay, we're done. So it's cool that they create an entire program where you can also give feedback instead of them just pulling feedback from your PC itself.
Yeah, and even then, they want to know, like, are more people interested in the campaign or Forge or anything like that? They're really trying to get all the information they can from your mouth.
It is. It's a true beta. It's not early access that you're seeing on Steam all the time. If someone's like, hey, I have a half-finished game, it's quote-unquote in beta, but AK, I'm not finishing it. It's legit. We want to beta test this basically by giving super hardcore Halo fans the option of actually playing through this.
Yeah.
And seeing how things go.
So moving on from MCC coming to PC, a lot of people have then been wondering, well, what's happening to all these fan projects that we all love and that we're either playing or we're looking forward to. Let's talk about the two biggest ones right now, which are El Dorito and Installation 01. They've both made official responses to this. El Dorito said, quote, "What are we doing now? What any group of Halo modders and reverse engineers would do. Continue to mod and reverse engineer Halo. Regardless of the future of the MCC on PC, the team isn't going anywhere. We've never stopped reverse engineering game, engine, and resources. Since last April, we've learned so much, and we've been able to do some incredible things, some of which we thought were impossible, and you will be seeing some of this work in the near future in the form of an update. Bottom line, this is not in any way a goodbye. The El Dorito team is not going anywhere. You'll be seeing a hell of a lot more from us in the future, whether it's through existing El Dorito mod or MCC PC itself. We will keep the community informed of our activities. Feel free to ask us questions on Reddit post or where this is linked. We will answer what we are allowed to answer. The future is bright, my friends, and it's time to be patient now. As for the ED team, quote, I think we're just getting started. So it's really cool that they're just like, this doesn't change anything.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So, like we're saying, Microsoft and 343i are poaching these developers who have made these mods, who I assume are going to be on their quote-unquote official mod team.
Yeah, well, you think that they could potentially work on both. Even do more things on El Dorito that maybe they're not going to be able to do on MCC to PC.
Sure, and it may be...
This is all speculation, of course.
It's all spec. I don't know. It really depends. It seems like Microsoft is really open in allowing these to happen this entire time.
True.
So more than likely what they'll do is they'll partner and be able to they'll probably be given official assets. Instead of having to kind of poach them and reverse engineer a lot of the game, Microsoft will probably be like, hey, here's our handbook. Take what you need.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, and that's probably what we're going to see from that, which is great, because if one of the great things that we can see probably from this modding community is more campaigns.
Yeah.
Like we've already seen original scores and a lot of other dub stuff that people have done. So if we're going to see some original campaign stuff, whether that be like non-canon offshoots or just even just fun campaign maps.
Yeah, or overhauls of CE, stuff like that. Adding new things that aren't necessarily canon, but just amazing to see.
Yeah, like I said, Ronald McDonald, Fry Gun, that's all I need.
Let's do it. Now let's talk about Installation 01's response. When 343 Industries initially announced that they were bringing the Halo MCC to PC, Installation 01 released a video of a Spartan skipping on a Halo ring, and then the screen simply states, "Dear 343 and Microsoft, thank you." So they're already like, hell yeah, this is cool. Because I think it is, because now we're going to be seeing, people who are discovering Halo on PC, and then they're just going to start discovering these fan-made projects. Shortly after this video, Installation 01 released a statement about the recent news ending on, quote, "In short, it doesn't. So long as you want to play a new, quote, classic experience with never before seen game modes, weapons, and more, we have in our place in that lineup, just as we did before this announcement. We'll keep going on as long as you are there to support us. Thank you, truly, for all the amazing support you've shown us this far." So as of right now, they're still continuing development of Installation 01.
It's cool. It's all cool. I fully support everything that people are doing. Like you said, bringing it to PC brings an entire game base to PC, which brings it to these mod makers, which continues to support. But it also allows for all these assets to be used.
Exactly.
Which is huge. So
we can do crazy things. We can get more Halo SPV3s. We can get those for Halo 2 and 3 and 4 and Reach and ODST, and it will be it'll be amazing.
We'll have that, Ron McDonald, Burger King. I'm kind of hungry right now, and I really don't want fast food, but I'll gladly take Ronald McDonald right now. No, it'll allow for so much more, and for the generation coming up now that is starting to play this for the first time, and it piques their interest, and they can then be like, I want to do that too. And you can then create new game modes and just new stuff that's going to be so amazing. I'm so excited for it to happen.
Exactly. So now let's move on to the release date, or the speculated release date. As of April 22nd,
2019.
there is none. There's nothing official, as we've said before. But according to Splash Damage's recent newsletter, they're working on the titles being released throughout the year. So what they said in that newsletter is basically by the end of the year, we should have everything. Because they didn't say throughout the next year or two. They said all the titles will be released within the year, or by the end of the year.
And that probably makes sense. I mean, I would say probably Reach is probably one of the hardest ones they're working on.
And also, I don't think that people should say this is law.
No.
Because everything's subject to change. And even Sketch has said multiple times, like, this stuff it's hard, and we're finding some hiccups.
It is. And I think that is probably the stockholder timeline too. Of we need this shit done by the year.
Yeah.
Like, we give you a year to do this because all you have to do is put it on the computer, right?
Yeah.
And so I think
Copy the code over.
Yeah, just put it over there. Put the disk in the tray and do that.
And I will say this, if there's anything that we will learn from our Halo 2 episode, which I'm researching on right now, by the way, having a lot of fun, is you put a deadline on these fucking games, and you will see the biggest mess a studio will be in.
And it's the reality of it. I mean, games are made to make money. They're made because they're amazing and people want to create these amazing, as with any art. You're making the art to be beautiful and people to enjoy it.
You can have a passion about it, but also be
Bottom line, it's the dollar.
Exactly.
So when you go, oh, yeah, we need another 2 years, they go, cool, you have to end it this year. So
it's basically what happened with Halo 2.
Exactly. So they will more than likely have it done by the end of this year, especially having two studios that are also working on this port, along with 343 Guidance. So we'll probably more than likely see it at the end of this year, if not trickling into the start of next year for some stuff, especially like extra game modes we might see trickling into next year. I definitely see that as a portion. But if we can get multiplayer and campaign on, I mean, that's kind of really what we need to start. And then as soon as you can get Forge, get Forge.
Exactly. And again, if they need a year and a half, let's be patient because they will produce something good. We've all been patient with Halo Infinite. It's been 5 years now, 4 or 5 years since Halo 2 or Halo 5 came out in 2015. So it's been 4 years now, and that's the longest we've gone without a Halo Master Chief title in a minute. And we really need to just be patient. I have faith with 343 and Halo Infinite because I think they've learned. I also have faith that if we give them time and we don't put an exact stamp of when this needs to be released, we will have a good PC experience with Halo once again.
And this is other news, breaking news, as if I just say it right now. It's been heard before. But Halo Infinite is not going to have Battle Royale.
Yeah,
like that is a whole separate.
It was within the same day. I saw articles because we have Google alerts, even just for MCC for this episode, and I saw Google alerts coming in that were mixed. That were like, Halo Infinite will have Battle Royale, and it was also like, developers from Halo say,
no, we're not.
No, we're not. Frank O'Connor was straight up like, what? No.
Yeah.
Frank O'Connor even said, with custom games, you can make battle royales right now. And then I thought, shit, you really can.
Yeah.
Which I think we should do. I've never played a battle royale game. Let's do it, like some Reach custom games or something.
I'm down for that. And the thing is, I think they're smart too, because I believe by the time Halo Infinite hits, and by the time we get some traction on it, I think Battle Royales will have kind of cascaded and slipped into just kind of what people want to play. It's kind of like how MOBAs are with League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, games of that nature, where, I mean, they were king. They ruled for years.
I remember a few years ago, I'd say like 2011 or 12 when I first heard about it, a guy I was in a band with was fucking obsessed with it.
And they're still big. I mean, we just had the LCS Spring Championship for League of Legends here in St. Louis.
Yeah, my friend Chris went and saw it. He was talking to us about how fucking excited he was.
And it's cool. Riot Games is based here in St. Louis, so it was really cool to have it here. But another note, so you had those ruling. Then you had games such as DayZ, H1Z1, and then eventually Fortnite come in that took Hunger Games and made it a battle royale.
Yeah.
And that just took over. I mean, it took over Twitch, it took over every streaming service, and then you've had other games to follow, even AAA titles such as Call of Duty. And then you have the latest craze is Apex.
Yeah.
So I think by the time Halo Infinite's released, I think that game mode will be stale enough that it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it would be silly to really
It'll settle down. Plus, I know Halo is doing a lot of things to conform with some stuff, but there has to be a line where 343 says we will not do that because it's still Halo. It's still one of the most popular and iconic franchises of all time. We need to set ourselves apart down, and especially with some of the story and Halo 5 and all that, it's kind of almost fallen off, but we need to put our foot down and say no. And I was worried, but the fact that Frank O'Connor came out and just said, no, you can do it right now if you want with custom games. The fact that he was not only like, we're not doing that, he's like, you can do it on your own. Go do it.
Yeah.
I think it's really hopeful for me that 343 is looking to the right direction on kind of getting back to, we need to stand out, not as the black sheep, but be on top as we were at one point.
It's true. And even if they thought of dabbling, they would be in such a saturated BR market that I don't know if you could do it. I mean, Apex definitely broke out. Having the Titanfall team work on that and create this beautiful, easy to play game that just the movement is like it just gets you rock hard. Like it's like the greatest movement in a game of all time that just makes it feel so fluid. And Halo has never really been that. It's always, and this is not to knock Halo, but the controls have always been kind of flighty. It's been kind of jumpy and not all over the place, but they've been
not natural.
It's
fun, but not natural.
Exactly. So I just don't think the way that Halo games have been played and the way that they work, you wouldn't have a BR stuff like that. So So I'm glad they're not going to that with Halo Infinite, and then they're really going to focus on more of traditional Halo gameplay.
Exactly. Now, as of, I think I started taking notes about all the recent updates, the 11th. So we have a few updates that's going on with Halo MCC to PC. So as of April 11th, it was the #1 wishlisted game on Steam.
Nice.
Like that's absolutely crazy. As of the 12th, we found out that MCC will be receiving skill-based matchmaking and social playlists. Now, according to Tyler Davis, the community support and engagement coordinator at 343, he had this to say about the social matchmaking. Quote, people who get pub stomped, I've never heard that term, by the way, pub stomp.
So it's when you join like public sessions that aren't ranked. So if you're not playing ranked and you just play like a typical pubby, you can have any rank of player. So you could play with new players or you could play with someone who's playing for 40 years.
Okay. So people who get pub stomped leave and don't come back. The experience is one we are aiming to stop. We have mountains of data to show this experience is bad for you or anyone playing in a social or ranked, regardless of if a player is new or someone who plays from time to time.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that not only plagued Halo, but plagues any game that has... So basically, they were talking about earlier about social playlists. So social playlists are basically anything you create with your friends, or if you want to just play like an unranked team deathmatch, an unranked big team, you're just ranked with players who happen to fit into the matchmaking playlist with you. And that could be the god of Halo, or that can be a tiny baby. So that's originally what it was. So this is nice to hear because...
Tiny baby Halo player.
Tiny baby Halo might be really good, but not fit in there. So it seems like you'll have ranked matches, which will give you like a rank. Like so, they've had all the military ranks go through in Halo that you could get. But then in social, like you're just playing a game to play a game. Like there's no quote unquote pressure you'd have as playing a ranked game. I mean, similar if you're playing Overwatch, if you're playing ranked, or if you're playing a quick play. Quick play is just playing with people from anywhere in any type of gameplay. But as ranked, like you actually have like a ranking that you stick within, whether it's like silver, gold, platinum, diamond, whatever you're working with there. So to see that is kind of nice because you'll always play with people within your skill rank. So if you aren't that good, or if you are younger, or if you just want to pick up a game from time to time.
Or if you're 26 and have no idea how to play PC.
If you're Jesse, then you'll get paired with kind of, the newer players or the less experienced players, which is super nice because not only will it allow for, like they said, a better gaming experience where you're not getting crushed over and over and over again, you're actually getting competitive. Like, like you and little baby Halo player can actually kind of be on that same wavelength. Which will keep you going, and it'll help you improve your game. So if you play with little baby and now you're against little toddler and you've increased, like that gives you more of a purpose to keep playing.
I don't know. I have a little bit of pressure playing against toddler, not baby.
It's true. That's why for me, I don't play any online fighting games. I'm not very good at them. I enjoy them from time to time, but just getting curb stomped every time I play is kind of like, I don't want to play it online. I'll play the single player or like Smash. I'll play with friends, but I don't want to put the time and effort into like dedicating my life to it.
Yeah.
So to hear this is super nice to have, especially if players are afraid of rank, because that can kind of be like, oh, the pressure's on me. We're in a ranked match. I need to get to like, Master General or something, but I don't want to freeze up and lose and have my teammates yell at me.
Yeah.
You can kind of go to a puppy match and just play with kind of the same style.
Yeah. So one last update that we know and that we've been talking about is flight testing might be delayed. Brian Gerard had stated that building these flights for PC has been complicated, and 343 is basically learning as they go.
I mean, it is. They're a console company.
And again, we just got to be patient. We just got to say, listen, we understand it's a lot of fucking work. Take your time like you are with Infinite. By the way, just to plug it in, we will, after Microsoft at E3, we're going to be doing a Halo...
Yeah, in June, right?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a Halo Infinite predictions once we get more information, because we don't want to wait until we see a game engine trailer, basically.
Well, of course. Like we want all of you to berate us on how wrong we are.
Exactly.
So we need to make sure that we make the worst predictions we can so that you can just be really angry at us and send us anti-pizzas.
Anti-pizza. What's an anti-pizza? Salad?
Just a pile of shit.
Send us a pile of shit.
No, it's no. I mean, we want to keep you guys up to date and just keep having fun with this. So we want to do those predictions
because we're having fun right now.
We're having fun. Like I said, this is a game that we've fell in love with over and over again, and it's why we want to just have you guys as an audience. It's really fun.
We want to hear, if there's anything maybe we missed about this, please tell us. That way we can address it on the next episode.
Well, exactly, and we want to keep it, like you said, keep this conversation going. I'm so excited that we're kind of having this Instagram start to blow up. We're having our Twitter kind of blowing up with people, and we want to keep you guys in the loop, but also keep us interested in the loop. It's so cool to see people interested in this in 2019.
Exactly.
I mean, to see people being like, oh, I remember Halo 2, I remember Halo 3, Combat Evolve was the shit, Halo 5 was
I'm hoping...
I mean, it's it's nice to hear those things. Like, it's nice to hear those.
I'm hoping to bring back the nostalgic feels with our Halo 2 episode. As I said, I've been working on that for about 2 weeks now already. I guarantee I have about another 2 weeks worth of research, but oh my God, I've had so much fun, and it's going to be a great episode.
I know. I can't wait to nostalgic feel you guys all up over the internet. It's going to be so fun.
But yeah, so back to the topic at hand. I want us to discuss, and we've been basically discussing our thoughts throughout this, but overall official statement from both of us. What are our thoughts on this? On the Master Chief Collection getting Reach and then coming to PC? I'm just gonna come out and say it. I think it's great. I love the idea of Halo growing. And again, I'm not a PC gamer, but even just through this announcement and doing the research for this episode, I found out about these mods, like Sins of the Prophets, which I'm gonna be too dumb to play, but I'm gonna try it anyway. And then you have SPV3, which, oh my God, I can't. I've probably brought it up 4 times since we stopped talking about it on the episode, but I'm so excited to try that out, along with Installation 01. And I have yet to play Halo Online, but I know people who have, and we're going to play it eventually. And we will be doing, again, episodes all about those. And I discovered a lot of these through research about this episode, and MCC coming to PC will give me finally a real reason to play games on PC. I'm excited. It's going to bring a new wave of Halo fans in, and some PC gamers who used to play a console but probably fell off of that are now going to have a chance to relive memories of Halo 1 through 4 and ODST and Reach.
I think precisely what Jess said. I want to reiterate that and say that this will ignite fuels of people. Like, I recently just bought an Xbox One, probably about 3 or 4 months ago, to play Master Chief Collection before we really even talked about the podcast. I just wanted to play it again because I hadn't played it in a while. But for people who haven't, or for people who want to play it again, it's very big that it's coming. And from a very analytical point, it's smart of Microsoft to bring it from a business sense.
Yeah, which, I think it was a culmination of how are we going to be able to make the fans happy, and how are we going to make money at the same time.
And I think they're seeing, they know their sales were down. They know that console sales in general have been either even or, fluctuating a bit. And you're losing out to Sony. You're losing out to Nintendo because now they have a portable console that kind of married the Nintendo DS and the Wii. So it's smart to be able to do that. And then if they can, at whatever point in the future, go cross-platform, not just Windows and Steam, but like legit Steam, Windows, and Xbox, that's when you've got a community going with it. And what I love about this community is it never dies. It lulls. It kind of goes down to the rumbles, but there's always a soft spot in anyone who's played a Halo game. You never like, oh yeah, I played the game a while ago. It's all right. It's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Do you remember, this map or playing Capture the Flag or
and
playing
everyone
Oddball?
has Halo stories as well. It's not just like, people like the game, the playlist, or a certain game mode, but they also have a story that you can attach to it. Now, you see this, and I know people are getting that nostalgic feel, and their interest is getting sparked again.
Think of this as a Disney reboot. We're getting Aladdin again. We're getting movies like Dumbo and Beauty and the Beast.
Let's forget about Aladdin. Let's just talk about Lion King. Aladdin looks kind of bad.
Either way, you're now 20 years past all these movies. You're a new gen, basically, and that's why they're doing this. You now have a new gen being able to play Halo.
Yeah.
If you played Halo 1 when, let's say, you were 16, you've probably got kids.
Yeah.
You've probably got a generation that's coming up.
I'm sorry, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That sounds terrible. But if you do have some little offspring, it's really cool that you are now able to share this with your kids.
Yeah.
And share. It's the same way I was with Mario. It's the same way that you've had with all these generational games that
and Zelda and all these.
And
other
Zelda
games.
and all these you can tap back on. Like, Nintendo was insanely smart with their IP in being, we're going to basically make these characters live forever. And Master Chief has kind of been that for Xbox, whereas it's on the violent side, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's a character.
yeah.
but it's a character that you can relate to. He's got these badass lines, and you can be like, oh, I played, Combat Evolved when I was 13, 16, 18, or whatever it is. Now I want my son who's 12 or whatever. Well, you shouldn't play it, but you should play this game and enjoy the moments with him. And enjoy the shit talking online, and enjoy just every little facet that Bungie and Microsoft and 343 and everyone who has ever worked in these games has brought to us.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, really the culmination of MCC coming to PC. Is it's not just our individual modders who are keeping Combat Evolved alive. It's not just Combat Evolved itself keeping itself alive. It's not just the community. It's everyone coming together through a generational gap from console and PC, and people who've put down the game for 10 years to be able to come back and love what they've loved way back when.
Yeah. It's great news. It's great news. I think this is definitely what the franchise needs. And I think this is really, a lot of people are saying, is 343 finally shining? Are we finally, is Halo finally making a comeback, And we won't know for sure until we get it. And of course it's going to play well and we get Infinite. But I think truly 343 is learning from their mistakes, and they're saying this is what the community needs. And I know this decision, a huge part of it was the fact that we saw the popularity of Halo Online. And I think that's kind of makes sense as to why, like, a year after that happens, actually about 11 months after that happens, they announce this, but they don't really have it set in stone yet. They announce, like, hey, we are going to bring this stuff to PC, but it's going to take some time. I think because they spent the next 11 months bringing some people over from El Dorado and saying, okay, is this even possible? Can we do this? How are we going to do this? I think that was, they've probably been thinking about it for a while, but that was definitely a kick in the ass to say, let's do it. Let's move on. Come on. You need to come with the times.
Yep. And for me, I'm going to end this, kind of wrap up with my thoughts. Like, I've already had my little tirade about it, but once again, coming to Steam, having the Steam Workshop, being able to have the community build what they want again. Hey, we want brutes in Halo CE, as these other mod makers have done it. We want some random stuff in this. Alex wants Ronald McDonald. All these things. It's so cool to see. And if a game like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim can be alive for going on 8 years, since 2011, was it 11? If 8 years, you can have all these random iterations and all these amazing mods for it that have kept this Elder Scrolls game alive. I mean, think of what it can do for these 6 Halo franchise games that are going to come out, that these fans have probably had these ideas in their mind forever. Like, wouldn't it be cool if such and such happened? If there was so-and-so gun? If so-and-so did this? Like, this is going to be opening up for such a cool thing for the fans.
SPV3, but for all of these games. Yeah. So I'm basically on board with Alex. We're excited. It's going to be cool to see a lot of these what ifs not be what ifs anymore. So, wrapping this up, if you have any thoughts, or if you have even a cool mod idea that you've thought about, message us, let us know. And we would love to, share it. And we're always curious about what you guys think about this kind of stuff. So, thank you for tuning into this episode. Now, 2 weeks from now, when you hear this episode 3, we will be covering our first novel, which is The Fall of Reach, which is, one of the most popular Halo novels. And we have a whole stack of them right here. And people still think that very first one is one of the best, if not the best.
It's what brought us John.
It's a damn good novel, that's for sure. And with that, I am your host, Jesse Reiners.
And I am your host, Alex Kendall.
And thanks once again for tuning in to Finish the Fight, a Halo podcast.
Halo. It's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.